Yeah, we had a match committee today, but we've got to get through our final training session. Look, they're a little bit shorter than they've been, so we might stay mobile. And but obviously with Nick coming in, got a couple of decisions to make. But if we're looking at tall defenders, Tommy Simpkin, who's played a couple for us, Tommy Walsh, who's really pushing for a debut, and then there's Jason Blake, who's like 196 game defender for us. So they're the three obvious ones, but we'll get through our final decision and put the squad in. And but at this stage, you know, haven't made a firm commitment to anybody yet. Yeah, look, they've got Ballantyne, so he's played on him and he's really dangerous, and Stephen Hill, so they've got some quick smalls. We're certainly been settled. Raf Clark's playing really good football, and Jason Graham, plenty of bounce out of there. What it does is put pressure on the incumbents in there, and yeah, he was one of the better ones at Sandringham as well. So if we went that smaller type, he'd be in the mix, but it has a funny way of taking care of itself the last session, so I always hold my breath and, you know, rather than preempt anything and it can change and you look like you're not telling the truth. So we just sort of wait and get through, then put the squad in. Oh, look, any time we lose a player with suspension, you know, it's just, I think the match review panel summed it up pretty well. It was a little bit reckless, low impact, not much in it. He had some carryover. I think if he hadn't had those carryover points, he might even be playing, you know, might have ended up being a reprimand. So, you know, and that's the way it works. If you continually just have some miss-ups, it builds and you pay a price down the track. So that's where Zach sits. And look, he'd been in ripping form. He'd done a really good job on Petrie and Schultz and Kennedy, and then on the weekend on Lynch. So he'd had 4 really good games, so we're going to really miss him. Yeah, he won't play this week. He was a bit less than he was the week before. He was really quite sore second up because he was really exciting the first one. So we're looking for him to take a bit of a step this week, and yeah, there's still a bit of footy to go. You know, it'd be exciting to have him in, and McAvoy can really play forward. So there's some teams running around 2 big ruckmen. So at the right time, we're trying to figure out how we're going to do it, but we'd like to be able to do it. Okay. Look, they're high calibre players, and they've had their injury challenges, and as we have, and at the end of the day, it really is about the 22 that go down there. You know, they went to Sydney and had an incredible win up there. So I think the Dockers have got great character. You know, they've proven that over a couple of years now, and they've got emerging superstars in Hill and Fife, and you know, they've got Pavlich there, and then they've got, you know, some, you know, McFarlane's back in, isn't he? And Grover and Johnson, and they've still got a fair bit there, and Crowley. So we're on red alert here. We're not taking anything for granted. It's a real, that classic 8-point game. You know, we've done a lot right over the last 10 weeks, but certainly the ensuing 5 weeks, and in particular, this is the most important game. A real singular focus to come out and play and improve our football. No, I think everyone had written us off, and there's some serious doubts there, obviously. And well, my philosophy is pretty simple. You know, do the work and prepare really well and work really hard to improve. But the basics, really competing and tackling, and we've certainly, you know, if you look at the last 5 weeks, we're the second highest play on percentage. So we've been more aggressive with that's been a conscious decision to move the ball and you know, and we had opportunities last week, but I think we're averaging 95, 98 points over the last 5 weeks. So there's been a conscious decision to be more aggressive with our ball movement. So I think it's a combination of competing, aggressive ball movement, and an appetite for the contest, you know, because even early in the year we're having some dominant first quarters, but then really dropping away for a half, and then so it's been more consistency of effort, and it's all started on the track. You know, so it's really important, a singular focus really on our next session, and then our final meeting tomorrow, and then Friday night, the big stage where everyone's tuning in against, you know, what's going to be a ferocious opponent. So urge all Saints fans to get there. I think they're getting their appetite back as well. You know, against Adelaide, they're starting the roar, so we'd like them to get on board as well, you know.